On today's episode of the Views from Texas 400 podcast, a lot of football. Phillip Rivers still looks old. Jaguars are very close to clinching the AFC South. Matt's Eagles essentially did clinch the East. The Giants still stink. Our fantasy league playoffs are underway. Stay tuned for the recap of that. All that and more coming up soon. See you guys.
And just like that, we're back.
A16, turn me up.
Welcome into episode 229 of the Views from Texas 400 podcast. Today's December 16th, 2025. And happy belated birthday, Matt. I am sorry the Indianapolis Colts half ruined it by not finishing off that money line bet for you.
So I went 1 for 2, and I appreciate the birthday wish, but I went 1 for 2. Villanova football, got to give him a shout out. Gets the job done down in Texas, defeats the Tarleton State Texans, who I honestly didn't think Nova had a chance either, but they got the job done. Win the game 26-21. Not sure if you guys watched the end of the game. The final play was wild.
I don't know how he wasn't in bounds. That was one of the craziest plays ever.
I don't know how he didn't get a foot down either. I was rattled. But to loop back, circle back to where you started, yes, Phillip Rivers. I was so ready to celebrate that victory for Rivers in return. I tried to shed some light on it last week. You guys understood the angle, but couldn't get behind the money line. I was all in on the money line. And look, man, they got the field goal at the end. They're playing super passive defense. They needed to get some kind of stop. They didn't get it. And then I know we'll, get into Seattle's kicker in a little bit here, but guys got nerves of steel or whatever you want to call it. He absolutely was drilling field goals. I mean, that field goal felt like it was going to be good from frickin' 90 yards that he hit as the game winner. But yeah, tough to see, man. Really. Oh, like besides, hitting bets or whatnot, really was pulling for Phil Rivers there. And would have been a great story here.
Yeah. I mean, Myers, he's been a straight killer since Halloween. 3 field goals in 6 straight games. He's missed 1 field goal during those 6 games. And he's 30 points, less than 30 points behind LaDainian Tomlinson for the NFL record in points in a season. So he just had to ruin Phillip Rivers' debut. And it was cool watching Phillip Rivers, but oh my God, you can really tell he's old.
Yeah, man. I mean, he looked like he was in a Halloween costume out there.
Yeah, Matt, a lot said there. First of all, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Got to give you some props for that Phillip Rivers and Colts take, too. Whole lot of value in a game that was a whole lot closer than it should have been. And then to Brian, to your point, Jason Myers, you said over the past 6 weeks that was?
Yep, at least 3 field goals made in every game.
I picked him up in a couple of fantasy leagues a couple of weeks ago, and to my surprise and to my benefit, I saw that he was number 1 overall, which is something you don't see many people take from Brandon Aubrey these days. He's been electric for them. Even when Sam Darnold is Sam Darnolding, that defense is playing stellar. Jason Myers can bang in field goals. They can still win football games. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I would have liked to see the Colts win.
Dude, it was so sad. Like Bailey Groupie hits you a 60-yard field goal.
Shane Steichen go ballistic on the sidelines in a good way. Didn't feel great about that. It felt a little bit premature. Like a premature celebration. Didn't love it, but I can understand it. That's a gutsy call as a coach to throw him out there. Maybe you contemplate going for it because it was a 4th and short situation. To number one, what a pretty much guaranteed you the final kick of the game too if you do go for it and get it. Nuts on the road. We know how Seattle is, 12th man in December. Not an easy place to kick a 4th quarter under 1 minute to go, 60-yard field goal. So just all around exciting ending. Just for me wasn't on the right side. I was, but I wasn't.
Yeah, you figured Groupie was going to nail it too. He walks on the field, rips some smelling salts, no reaction to the smelling salts at all. You're like, oh, he's locked in.
They're both smelling some salt guys. Myers is like, that guy shoves the thing halfway up his nose when he's ripping the smelling salts.
The amount of time he's on the field too, like he's not going to be able to smell.
Unbelievable. I mean, these guys.
It's working for him. Great.
It's working for him. We talk about Brandon Arbery, who I'm sure we'll get to him missing a couple kicks last night. But Myers, can we call him the best kicker in football? It's tough. Over the last couple of weeks, the statistics show it.
Yeah, this season, I think you got to give it to him. I mean, this is a record-setting season where Cam Little, nice little shout out there, he's getting his name featured on the pod. Cam Little setting distance records, but as Brian said, Myers might break the points record, which is very, very hard to do and would be very impressive for him to do.
He is like, if he keeps up this pace he's been on for the last 6 weeks, I think he'd break it. Just barely, but he'd break it.
That guy looked like does the ball travel better in the air in the Pacific Northwest? I mean, it just felt like the ball was hanging in the air forever.
Yeah, there's got to be some kind of elevation.
Like, dude, Myers' kick was a 60-yard kick, and it felt like it was at the height of the goalpost when it went through. Like, that thing was drilled and just hung in the air.
Got the wind coming off that Pacific coast.
Yeah, maybe the wind. That's
the wind helps it a little bit. I don't know, but it seemed pretty nuts.
Yeah, Seattle has a chance to really. I mean, if they can beat the Rams on Thursday, they could sneak into the 1 seed in the NFC. And the Colts now, I'm kind of worried for Phillip Rivers because they have to win out and then get some help. But in the scenario they win their next two, which is San Fran and then Jaguars, they got to play the Texans in a possible winner get in. That would be elder abuse for that Texans defense against Phillip Rivers.
Well, you don't really have to worry about where the Colts are at, but the Texans, they're going to be, I'm pretty positive they're in for a wild card spot right now. Fairly positive about that, and they're going to need to win that football game to stay there. I mean, that the AFC race, the AFC wild card race is very competitive. The AFC South divisional race is still competitive, even though the Jags are up on the Texans by a game. So, yeah, the Texans are going to be fighting. That defense is going to be shooting. They're going to be getting ready for a playoff game. They're not losing a step. And they're going to be licking their chops going after Phillip Rivers, who can't move.
Yeah, it's really weird because, I mean, the Texans are going to be a playoff team. It's going to be a race for that division, especially with what happens in Colts versus Texans. But, like, you look at the playoff picture right now, Broncos 1, Patriots 2, Jags 3, and then the 4 seed is going to be either the Ravens or the Steelers. If it happens to be the Ravens, you probably don't want that 5 seed. I think you want to play – you probably don't want to play a mile high, but you probably want to play the Patriots at the 2. So maybe you want that 6 seed? 7 seed? 7 seed. Which is where Houston is right now.
It's wild how we went from Colts 7-1 to 8-6, and Phillip Rivers is their starting quarterback. Texans seem kind of down and out in the beginning. So they've flipped with the Colts, and I forget, Jack, you can attest. I wouldn't say it was like an unreal start for the Jags, but they kind of kept it afloat. And then,
it was a good start.
It was an okay start. They had that ugly game in Cleveland or Cincinnati.
So week 1, we got the Panthers at home, and good home opener, good season opener, won that. Week 2, we go to Cincy. Should have beat them, but freaking Jake Browning just has our number, dude.
Right.
And we ended up losing that game. And then we went off and won.
Was the next week the Chiefs game?
No, it was the Texans. We beat the Texans week 3. And then, the Niners.
I think they started 4-1, right?
Yeah, we beat the Niners week 3, and then the Texans, and then the Chiefs. So I think
it felt like just an average start because of the week 2 game, but that is a better start than I expected.
Yeah, I believe we started 4-1.
Yeah, 4-1. You beat the Niners. Niners and Chiefs were close games.
Yeah,
So that maybe they didn't feel like dominant wins. Then you lost to Seattle. Then you lost to the
that's a
Rams.
tough one. That was
So there was a
super
quick
tough
skid.
one.
And then they
Yeah.
barely beat the Raiders in overtime. So
And
those
then
3 weeks.
we've won every game since,
Yep.
except for that Texans collapse.
I mean,
Look, we've been having an up and down season, I guess you could say, up until maybe last week. We sort of turned on the gas a little bit. This week was one of the best performances I've ever seen the Jaguars put together through 60 minutes. Definitely the best game with Cohen. Definitely Trevor's best game. I mean, the dude threw for 6 touchdowns. Come on, or threw for 5, ran for 1. Had
he's in his
6
own
touchdowns.
place in NFL history now. First ever player to throw for 5, rush for 1, and rush for 50 yards in a game.
And throw for 300.
Can't
Oh,
argue
yeah, I
with
guess you could throw
stats.
that in there too.
Can't argue with the stats, man. He balled out, regardless of who you might have played on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's,
Look,
impressive stat line.
it's the Jets. I would
love to see him do that against the Texans in
Oh.
a good way, not as
Yeah.
a dick.
No,
And maybe not even that, but go throw 275 yards and 2 TDs and no turnovers, and you're like that to me. If I'm a Jaguar fan, I'm like, shit, man. All right, this guy's finally turning it around, and not that he's not on the turnaround track, but that's something I want to see.
And that's the thing is Trevor Lawrence is definitely playing. Like I said, that was the best football I've seen him play in a Jaguars jersey. Travis Etienne, won a national championship with Trevor Lawrence at Clemson. He was asked in the post-game presser, is this the most confident you've ever seen Trevor Lawrence? Does this remind you of the Clemson days when you guys won a national championship? And Travis Etienne was like, I've never seen this Trevor Lawrence before. We won a national championship together at Clemson. We went to the playoffs a few years ago in our second year. I've never seen Trevor Lawrence this comfortable, this confident, be thrown with this much swagger. I mean, to hear, Travis Etienne, I don't think there's another person around that I would trust more or value their opinion more on what Trevor was like winning national championships in college versus now. If he's saying it and my eyes are telling it to me, and man, it's a good time for Trevor Lawrence, a good time for Jaguars fans. This team is on the up and up, and we're looking good, man. I wouldn't want to see us right now.
Might just be the year of the Myers. Just talked about Jason Myers. Jacoby Myers unlocks the Jaguars passing game and Trevor Lawrence.
He has been the best, mid-season, late season, whatever you want to call it, acquisition that we've ever had, no doubt. And I feel like we talked about this with, another sport, another team not that long ago. Someone picking up a really good, trade deadline acquisition. Maybe it was the baseball deadline. But, Jacoby Myers just been an absolute stud for us. And I'm just so happy he's on our team right now. And next year is going to be interesting. Definitely want to re-sign him, given what he's given to us through these few weeks. But we'll see. He needs a contract. Trayvon Walker needs a contract. Or actually, I think we paid Trayvon. Devin Lloyd needs a contract. ETN needs a contract. It's tough.
Yeah, it was Phillies with Harrison Bader. But, Brian, you threw some of these Jaguar coaches in here. And was this a jab at the limited history of the Jaguars? This feels like a typical Brian trying to make a little joke in a real stat.
Yeah, I didn't want to
tell the people and then give us the reason why we're talking about this.
Well, it just got surprising. I guess it's not that surprising because of the limited history of the Jacksonville Jaguars. But if Liam Cohen wins out for the rest of the season, he will enter the top 5 all time in terms of head coaching wins for the Jacksonville Jaguars franchise. He would tie Gus Bradley.
Is there any other team in the National Football League where a coach can enter the top 5 in all-time wins of the franchise history? That's why it feels like a
all right.
Feels like a jab. It feels like a jab.
Look, this team has barely been around longer than we have.
You're correct. Yes.
Yeah.
You're right. That's
New
why I'm
franchise, man.
Jack, since we've been alive,
Like a stat,
I gotta look this up
unnecessary
now.
stat to bring up.
I mean, since we've been alive, I was surprised when I looked this up and saw the original side and then looked up the rest of the head coaches. But Tom Coughlin has been the best head coach in the history of both of our franchises, at least since we've been alive.
Yeah.
Tied for all-time wins.
68 and 60. Only other Jags head coach besides Liam Cohen to have an above 500 record.
All right.
How many all-time wins does Coughlin have for the Giants?
Okay, here you go. You guys want a fun stat?
Sure.
You guys want a fun stat? The next head coach of the Texans only needs to win 5 games in his first season to make the top 5 for them.
What?
I guess they're even.
He only needs to win
they
5
the
games.
same year as the Jags? Or are they even newer?
I think they're even newer. I think they were 99. No, 2002.
So definitely newer.
Did they take over for somebody?
Yeah.
Oilers, right?
No, because then it
It
would have
used
been
to
the
be
same
the Houston
franchise.
Oilers, but they
would've
turned
just
into
rebranded.
the Houston Oilers turned into who?
the Rams, right?
Colts? Rams?
No,
Titans.
yeah.
Titans.
The Oilers went to the Titans. So were the Texans just a straight-up expansion?
Yeah, just to get Houston back there, I guess.
And then were the Jaguars a straight-up expansion, or was that a relocation? Had to be a straight-up expansion. Yeah.
Expansion, yeah.
Yeah, they were going to bring back the Baltimore Colts, I think, and then they decided on Jacksonville. Or they gave the bid to Indy. They gave the old Baltimore Colts bid to Indy, and then
Right. The
Jacksonville.
Baltimore Colts turned to the Indy Colts. The Ravens were probably an expansion.
They're fairly new too. But yeah, originally Shahad Khan wanted the Colts in Jacksonville, and then that didn't work out, and then they just gave him a team.
Interesting.
I watched like an hour-long video. I wish I could shout out the creator of it, but about all this nonsense, but it was long enough ago where I don't remember all of it.
Yeah, so
He finally got a coach.
dude. Liam Cohen's been electric, and the Bills gave you a little bit of help on Sunday to have the Jags hanging around, to put it nicely, for the number 1 seed.
Yeah, I mean they're in contention.
Hanging around. They're hanging around at the end
The-
of the year is the best way you can put it.
The Patriots doing us a solid, losing to the Bills. The Broncos, they won't seem to lose, but they've
Bo
been in
Nix
some
was-
really
He
close
was
games
Texas A&M
lately.
Johnny Manziel on Sunday. He was not NFL Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
I love how, and again, not to rabbit hole this, but the openness of Johnny Manziel now on these podcasts and just interviews that he does, of just all the degeneracy that he did in college and the NFL. Just the one I saw the other day was him going to Vegas undercover, like a day or two before an NFL game, because it was December and the Browns were 1-12 or whatever horrendous record they had. And he just went to Vegas. So I don't know, not to rabbit hole it, but
I think
excited to see what more stories come out.
I think it was his podcast that we learned that Quentin Jammer was hammered in like 8 games.
Yeah,
That was his podcast that just released that.
Not only is he shedding light on his own situations, he's exposing others.
When he gets Josh Gordon on there, that episode's going to do numbers.
Yeah, that should be a fun one. Where is Josh Gordon?
Were they on the Browns together?
Yes.
I think so. And they might have played in the CFL together too.
It was tricky because they were on the team together, but Gordon was just always suspended.
They played in that fan football league.
I can't imagine
Thing
he was
together.
doing any more or less than Johnny Manziel, but of course
They were
he doesn't
taking
get
shots
suspended.
together in the locker room. All right, well, Jack's team won. Matt, your team finally won again. The Eagles absolutely killed the Raiders. Their second team offense with Tanner McKee had more total yards than the entire Raiders offense did in the game.
Yeah, look, they it's a get back spot. I'm so glad. I'm glad they won, but I'm glad they didn't win by a nail biter or win by the skin of their teeth or this is a team where if you let bad teams hang around in the NFL, anything can happen. Pedal to the metal from the start. I know the Raiders aren't good, but it's a get right game. And look, I know it's a really bad team, but sometimes when you're in a slump like that, it's good to get the home crowd going and, feel good about yourself again. And even if it's not against a good opponent, it's still psychologically and mentally good to see points on the board, see the defense making plays, watch the quarterback move the ball down the field, complete passes, score touchdowns. Like, that's good to see in the NFL. Like, we know it's hard to win regardless of who you're playing. And it was a spot where they needed to win and to win a big way. And, I think they accomplished that goal, and hopefully, they feel good and confident again. And, hopefully we can get back to, I'm not saying they're back yet, but, hopefully we can restore some confidence in the Super Bowl champions.
I like the way you said that, especially, with a team that has confidence issues or morale issues, call it whatever it might be, team that's just too talented to be struggling the way they are. You want to see things look good, right? Like the Jaguars don't have that luxury. This was the first time things have looked good all season for us. But so many of those games after in the post-game pressers, you're just hearing the players talk like, yeah, you know what? We don't care how we did it, but a win's a win. We got it done. And those help. There's no doubt. It helps, especially, come playoff time, seeding and all that good stuff. But to see it happen the right way, to see your offense go out there and do what they're supposed to do, enough to bring in Tanner McKee in the second unit, to see the shutout, to finish that game with the goose egg on the board for the other team. I mean, that goes a long way for your defense. It sets a standard for them. Look, we can shut out NFL teams. This is what we need to do moving forward. It's not always going to be that easy against the Raiders, but it sets an expectation that I think will serve you guys really well. As much as Brian probably doesn't like to hear that.
It builds confidence.
It's nice to know that as bad as the Giants have been, they are clearly not the worst team in the NFL. We'll see what happens in the Tankathon game. They play the Raiders in a couple weeks here, but man, that team's bad.
Yeah, and I mean, dude, Pete Carroll just helpless on the sidelines, 70 whatever years old. I don't know how old the guy is now, just chewing his pieces of gum to oblivion. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do? He's got Kenny Pickett standing back there scared to death, throwing, 5-yard out routes to running backs and throwing it a short arm and at 2 yards short. Ashton Genty really, again, tough on the road. Eagles defensive line, obviously superior to whatever offensive line the Raiders want to throw at them. So didn't expect much there. But, I mean, Pete Carroll, man, like, he's just sitting there like with the look on the face like, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to coach this game?
How many times do you think him and Max Crosby have just gone back to wherever Pete Carroll's living in Vegas, just had a glass of bourbon and just ranted about how bad their team is? Because, like, I feel bad for Crosby. He's chewing out his teammates on the sideline. Like, he's having a great year. It's just so bad.
Yeah, the problem where I lose my, I guess, empathy or sympathy.
No, I guess Crosby's sober. Sorry.
My empathy or sympathy, he is, for Max Crosby. And props to him for being able to fight the sobriety battle and for what it seems win that battle. But for Crosby, like, he wants to be in Vegas. He wants to re-sign there. And I know he's competitive and I know he wants to win, but, he easily could have went and forced his way out like we see these superstars do and go play for, Micah Parsons got a huge deal, which again, we'll get to him in a little bit, but just for an example, and is on a competitive team. Now, I didn't see his injury report, so maybe not a great example because I don't know if he's competing for the rest of the year, but
no, he's done.
The comparison remains the same. Forced his way out, got the contract, and is on a contender. Crosby didn't do that. Which, again, you respect the loyalty, but can he really be that mad?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's the opposite when you decide to go take the bag you go play for some bad team and then you stink, like, and complain. like the Tyreek Hill, for example, then I don't care if you're mad. But a guy like Max Crosby, who's put a lot of time and effort, blood, sweat, and tears into that organization, the Raiders, like, we always talk about when franchises bring in a new quarterback, putting in pieces around him, a good O-line, a good running game, some offense, like some receivers, some catchers. They need to build around Max Crosby. Like, this guy is the guy for the defense. This guy is the guy for the franchise. He has put so much into them that they need to do better by him. And, I will say, Max Crosby, it's blind faith at this point. The Raiders are not figuring this out by the time that, you're going to end your phenomenal career. But,
well, that's what I'm saying. The Raiders, are they
they've failed?
They're throwing half-ass pieces, like signing Geno Smith to this ridiculous contract. Not a lot of years, so they can work their way out of that. It's not, they're not tied to him long term, but maybe go try and sign Sam Darnold instead of Geno Smith, or go try and attack a different quarterback, or build some weapons on the outside. Go sign, DK Metcalf was available. George Pickens was available. There's other things you could have did to, build up the team so that you don't waste a prime Max Crosby, which they haven't done. So you respect the loyalty for Crosby for wanting to be there, drafted there, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was drafted there.
Yeah.
And wants to be there and wants to, be the reason they turn around. But at the same time, like, front office isn't doing it. So you're right. Tyreek, I also don't have sympathy for, because he ran out the door to get the bag for a bad team. But Crosby's got to look at it like, they're not doing anything to help me. Why am I could go get the bag anywhere else. Why am I going to stay loyal to a team that's maybe financially loyal to me, but they don't care about winning?
They've tried to win. They're just bad at it. We've seen them, they've been not this bad the last couple of years, and they've been trying to go all in. They drafted Ashton Genty. They signed Geno Smith. They're trying to win. They're not. It's not like the Browns and Myles Garrett where they know they're going to lose. Like, we were talking about the Raiders in the preseason as a possible sleeper team. They bring in Pete Carroll.
They were one of the few losses on the Patriots resume.
Yeah, they've been trying. So that's where Crosby's, because the way they build it to him is, we're going to try to win, and they just suck at trying to win.
I mean, dude, I might need like a math statistician or somebody in my corner to figure out the contracts, but I feel like I could go in there and pull the strings better than throwing a dart at Geno Smith and hoping for the best with Ashton Genty, who, again, I don't think we really know how effective he can be, and he's shown a lot of good flashes. That offensive line needs help badly.
Yeah, he's last in the league in yards before contact.
Yeah, so it's not his fault, but at the same time, is drafting the marquee running back the right move when you have these gaping holes in more important positions? In my opinion, you could debate the running back position. That's a different conversation, but is, again, sure, trying to win, go with the flashy running back pick when you have nobody to block for them. They're morons.
Yeah, but I think that, they can give Crosby that speech of saying, we're going to try to win, and then it's not his fault when they're morons. That's what I'm trying to say. So I can't really fault Crosby for.
I got you. I think he can maybe use his own judgment and say, hey, these guys are trying, but they suck at trying, your angle. So I gave them pretty much the best years of my life. I can still be in my prime into my 30s and into your 30s, I think is fair. Most of these guys can stay at a prime level with modern medicine and whatnot, but I don't know, man. That's, at some point you got to look at what moves you're making and what you're doing, and maybe say, hey, it's time for me to jump ship. Not that I haven't been loyal, but it's a not for long league for a reason. I mean, this guy doesn't have unlimited years, especially at the highest level of his performance output. All of that is just,
we might see what we used to see with a lot of guys on, franchise guys on bad teams, where you play out your career with a team and all of your prime years for the most part. And then, on your last contract, you might try to go to a contender for a year or two and try to get it done, retire back with that franchise team. I have a feeling that's what we're going to see with Max Crosby. That's what we see with a lot of the loyal players. And you know what? I wish him the best.
Yeah,
but
what's he going to be 35 years old and then jump ship to a contender after
no, like 33 probably
14-year career with the Raiders and then try and go win one in year 15?
I mean, it's a little different with Von Miller because he did win one, but he's been ring chasing for the last 3 years.
Is he still in the, he's on the Bills?
He's on the Commanders. He thought they'd be good this year. He won. Oh, he won 2, yeah. Well, he won his second when he was ring chasing.
With LA, right?
Broncos and Rams.
And he went to Buffalo, and now he's with Washington.
Yeah, some of those guys still at a high level. Again, I don't know what Von Miller's high level looks like, but I mean,
7 sacks this year.
Yeah, Khalil Mack too.
He has 7 sacks this year.
He's still rocking and rolling,
playing like 30% of the snaps. Khalil
I was
Mack.
going to say, I know he only plays like third downs, but
yeah.
I've seen Khalil Mack make some plays this year for the Chargers.
Yeah. I mean, he's got to be. I feel like I remember watching him on the Bears in high school.
Yeah.
The Raiders before that.
Raiders, Bears. Didn't come from the Bills, but he went to Buffalo for college. There's your fun fact of the night.
3rd overall pick, I think.
I don't know if he was that high. That doesn't sound right. That doesn't. 3rd seems too high. I want to say he was around 7, 5 to 7.
Draft.
Top 3 doesn't feel right, but prove me wrong, Brian.
Yeah. So
yeah, okay, what did I say? 5 to 7. Yeah, 3 seemed high, but yeah, they hit on that pack. Well, did they really? They didn't even keep him. Anyway,
they made a trade for. Was that the Josh Jacobs trade? I think they got Josh Jacobs in that.
2 first-round picks.
Yeah, because what?
I think they got Jacobs and then was it Clelin Ferrell?
Clelin Ferrell, the Alabama OT.
No, he was the D lineman, I thought. Yeah.
It may not have been the same draft class. If it was, I really pulled that out of my ass. But
that's all good, man.
Yeah, the Eagles will be going to the playoffs. The sky's not completely falling yet. So my cat makes an appearance. They end that musical chairs stat that we can no longer reference, which is very sad.
And I don't know if we'll get to it. Cowboys drop the game on Sunday Night Football, which further, I mean, I don't think the Eagles clinch the NFC East, but I think they have to win one of their final 3 games, and 2 of them come against the 4-win Commanders. So I think the Eagles have to lose out, and the Cowboys have to win out.
I think it's over because of that tie.
Is it?
Because the best the Cowboys can do now is 9-7-1, and the Eagles
would be 9. Oh, do they? Oh yeah, because there's 9-7-1, and the Eagles have 9 wins.
And they got so they'd be 9-8.
They'd be
9-8. So it's not over.
No, that's what I said. They need to win one of their final 3 games, and 2 of them are against the 4-win Commanders.
Okay.
It's basically over.
It's basically over.
No, there's 3 games left.
One of their last 3 they have to win. I don't know how much more clear.
They only have 9 wins? They don't have 10? Yeah, they're 9-5. Okay. Yeah. All right, you're right.
Christ, Brian.
Leave the math to us.
As if it's not the team I root for and haven't already ran through the scenarios.
I swear I saw that they clinched, but maybe I got centelled.
Now the cat's distracting you. It's all good.
Who's the next game on the list?
I think Brian was trying to run Eagles are in the playoffs, but a team that's not. I think that's where Brian was going with that one.
Yeah, the Chiefs. They're not. It's the first time since 2010 the AFC Championship will not feature Brady or Mahomes.
Wow. Look, all good things come to an end. What goes up must come down. It's common knowledge.
15 years, 2 guys.
It's also the second Super Bowl that won't feature those two. You want to know the one team that won it when the Super Bowl didn't feature those two?
The Eagles. No.
This team's pretty good this year. That's why I pulled the stat.
The
We
Rams?
just talked about. Yep.
Oh, the Rams. Yeah.
Beat the Bengals in 22.
Was it 22? That was like 2020, bro.
That's what I thought until I looked it up, and it was 2021 season, 2022 Super Bowl.
Because then the Super Bowl after was the Eagles Chiefs first one, right?
Yep.
Okay. Shit show game.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes will also still have never taken a snap while being eliminated from playoff contention since he's now out for the season.
Wow. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
That's crazy. Yeah, well, look, he'll be fine. Is he gonna be back for start of the season? Probably not, right? Like mid-season next year?
Yeah, they're saying he's gonna miss some time.
Probably missed the first month. And the NFL will give him like a week 4 bye. So he'll be back in week 5.
Yeah, and some breaking news here. I don't know how breaking it is. Jaden Daniels shut down for the rest of the year as well. After what I mean, again, moron franchise, and not surprising because they have blitzer putts running the show. But your quarterback's already half injured. You're in a regression year. You have 4. Why are you throwing him out there? What is the point of doing that?
He only has a year of experience. You need him to get reps.
You have advisors in your corner who should be able to advise you on how not to be a bonehead. But I guess, he didn't. And it's pretty serious injury, I think, with Jaden Daniels and the elbow and whatnot. So I don't know.
Yeah.
The season's been over, man. Throwing him back out there. What, to give him reps? He went to the NFC Championship game last year. What reps does Jaden Daniels need?
He only had a year.
Look, I can see
Brian.
both your sides right now. I'm going to be with Matt here, though. I'm in the camp of if the season's over and you got a hobbling quarterback,
Exactly.
don't send him back out there.
He's
Rest
already
up.
hobbling.
Like, maybe I'm not even going to say it. Like, I would never be one to just say, yeah, this is it. He's done for the season. Because, if he is feeling better in a few weeks and we want to get him some reps in a week 17 or 18 game, we can. Why not? It's our football team. We want to get a couple reps in before the end of the season. Let's do it. But to have him go out there and go try and win every single rep for the next 4 weeks, 3 weeks, when your team has no shot and he's already limping as is, like, what are we doing? So
It's asinine.
I'm happy Dan Quinn announced that he's shutting him down.
After he already re-aggravated.
It's Patrick Mahomes going down. That was their advisors. They said, yeah, we're not doing that again.
Yeah, they saw what happened to Mahomes and Josh Jacobs and said that he's on a rookie deal, but our big franchise guy, it's not happening.
Yeah, I also want to give a quick shout out to Kevin Harlan because I know how much Matt you love that man, and I do love his Monday Night Football calls on Westwood One. He had one of my favorite.
Wait, how much I
calls.
love who?
Kevin Harlan.
Oh yeah,
He was doing this game.
big Harlan
and
fan.
When the Chiefs still had hope, he had one of my favorite calls of the season. I'll just go through it here. I don't have a good Kevin Harlan impression, so I'm just gonna read. Intercepted and picked off on the play. Gelati, the rookie. It's a thick pick inside the 20. Oh, it's a big man with a lot of hair. And that was his call on an interception.
That's what stood out to you as
It's a big man with a lot of hair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shout out
that
Kevin Harlan.
wasn't the worst attempt, Jack.
All right, I'll take it.
But definitely, I think Brian's might have been a little worse if you went for it.
Yeah, I didn't want to try it.
Just a little too monotone for the listeners, Brian.
Sorry.
I got you.
Big man with a lot of hair. There you
And that's why you're behind the glass.
go. Yeah, Gelati. Thick pick. Don't think I've heard that before on an NFL broadcast.
Good stuff. Now,
I've heard the thick six before, though.
If you want some action, listen to the Charlotte Hornets announcer.
He was doing some football earlier.
Yeah, they're getting him involved.
Yeah, but the Chargers in this game, too. Justin Herbert's still getting killed every week, and they're still finding ways to win. Keandre Lambert-Smith, War Eagle, caught his first touchdown. Second catch of his career goes for a touchdown.
Yeah, that was awesome. I was watching that and just saying, who just caught that pass? I'm like, kind of looks like Quentin Johnston, but yeah, he wears like number 1 or something like that. I'm like, who on earth is 84? Like, and then it was Keandre Lambert-Smith. I'm like, hey, War Eagle, let's go. Always like to see our guys doing well.
Yeah, good to see him have a big week after Darius Slayton dropped 12 passes in the Giants' loss. I think the Chargers will be fun. I really hope it's not Chargers-Steelers in that wild card. Is it still Super Wild Card week?
That would be an awful game, and neither of those teams deserve a playoff win.
No. But maybe that's why it has to be Chargers-Steelers. We just get it out of the way, and then we get good matchups across the board everywhere else.
I'd love to see the Chargers in the playoffs again. I'll just come out and say that right now. I might be shooting myself in the foot saying that, and I'm aware of that. But I would love to see the Chargers in the playoffs again.
If the season ended today, would that be the first round?
I can check. Let me.
And the Chargers, they might be the 5 seed. They might be ahead of the Bills.
They won, right?
Yeah, the Bills, and we'll talk about that game.
The Chargers are ahead of the Bills, so it would be Steelers, Chargers, Jags, Bills, Patriots, Texans, with the Broncos on a bye.
You would definitely rather see the Chargers than the Bills, I think.
Look, I'm gonna keep knocking on wood, but we have had Josh Allen and Justin Herbert's number, so I wouldn't mind seeing either of them.
Well, Josh Allen did have a big day. He's now up to 3rd in MVP voting, just behind on the odds, just behind Drake May. Trevor Lawrence, by the way, tied for 4th after his big performance. It's a distant 4th, but it's 4th.
I'm sure it is. You know, just for him to be up in those talks right now is more than we could have ever hoped for.
Yeah, this was
fresh air.
I'm sorry, what?
I said a breath of fresh air. The guy's been getting killed for the last 3 years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he has. By you too, especially.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. That's why I said a breath of fresh air to see him in some nice comparisons.
Oh, yeah.
Not getting compared to Daniel Jones.
It was always Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I think so. It's hard. It's easy to say that now with Daniel Jones.
Is it easy to say now?
It is very easy to say.
All right, Bills Patriots. I had 2 big takeaways.
Easy to say before.
Two big takeaways from this one. One, my Trevion Henderson Rookie of the Year bet is alive and well now. He is now the favorite to win the award with the Mecca Buka falling off. He is.
Yeah, he is. It's wild. Wow, how that flipped.
So that was a little Undertaker action for that bet slip. And also, we made a huge mistake not recognizing the Dawson Knox baby boom. He had a baby, and then he scored 2 touchdowns.
Is that a real thing? Because if I knew that going into Sunday, I don't think I would have even taken him to score 1 touchdown.
They have a kid. They're going to score a touchdown. Josh Allen also got Haley Steinfeld pregnant, and they announced it, and he didn't score a touchdown. So,
right. Well, let's be on the lookout for when that thing comes out, all right?
He threw plenty of touchdowns. Let's not act like he didn't have a touchdown.
Yeah, but if you're going to bet on a touchdown, you would have lost that bet.
Yes, I understand what you mean. But you could also just bet the over on 2.5 and passing touchdowns.
We'll just take 2. Just take 2. Call it a day.
Either way, we're going to
get greedy.
Did this game tell you more about the Bills still being the Bills or the Patriots maybe not quite ready?
Patriots not quite ready. I think everybody can kind of, who have they played? Is there anybody on their schedule that you're like, wow, Patriots knocked off a really good team? I mean, this was a really good, what do they call this? The litmus test? No, this game this week was the litmus test for them. I still think they're a good year, but I think you phrased it really good right there of, you could be really good, but still not ready. And that might be what the Patriots are. Josh Allen still runs that division, man.
Yeah, and look, the Patriots might end up winning the division, but I've been saying it, man. I said it before the season. I have definitely changed my tune a little bit to the Patriots 10-3 record or whatever it is now, but they're not there yet. They have a really good team. Drake May has definitely progressed way more than I had originally thought. Vrabel has turned that franchise around back to the Patriots that we've come to know under Brady and Belichick. So I think that they're trending in the right direction. If you're a Patriots fan, you have been ecstatic to this point. But when they flail out in the playoffs, it shouldn't come at a big surprise. It really shouldn't. It'll be Drake May's first time around. A lot of players on that team, their first time around. I don't think they really have these expectations. Given what they've done in the regular season, they might, but they shouldn't have these expectations.
Yeah, we might get another Stephon Diggs confetti picture this year, especially if it's in like Mile High.
He's there.
Guy's a cornball.
I think they can. If they stick at the 2, they can win some home playoff games. The issue is, like Matt said, they don't really have the big wins. They beat the Bills, but now that's kind of eradicated because they split. They beat the Bucks, but that win's looking worse every week.
Yeah, the Bucks haven't been a very impressive team this year with all of their injuries. I mean, they're starting to get healthy, and they did look a lot better in this, or I shouldn't say a lot better, but better in this most recent game. But yeah, they're not a great team. They beat the Bengals. They're a 4-win team. That was without Burrow. So yeah, there's I don't know. There's just not a lot that you can look at to say that this is a really good team, other than the record.
Yeah, at home, I think I want to say they could beat Houston at home and probably the Chargers at home. So give them a win there.
I think they absolutely could win 2 games. I think that they could make an AFC championship. I just don't know they have what it takes to string it all together. Like 3 or 4 consecutive games to win a Super Bowl.
Sorry.
I just don't see that happening. But I could see them winning a game or 2 in the playoffs. I probably won't expect it.
2 wins, another loss in the AFC championship. That's the perfect time for a Stephon Diggs picture.
I think that that's their ceiling, is what I'm saying. And I don't think they hit their ceiling.
I'm not going there with the Diggs picture just yet.
In the AFC this year, where you might not have Mahomes, you're not going to have Mahomes, you're not going to have Burrow, and you might not have Lamar. And the Patriots could be at home for at least 2 of those games.
I mean, hey man, there's a Lawrence over there. There's a Herbert over there.
Okay, yeah.
I'm the buck stopping there. I'm really not going to talk about anybody else.
Yeah, I don't know. I could definitely see them beating the Broncos in an AFC championship when Bo Nix is a bad day.
I could see them beating the Broncos.
I think the problem is he's not going to have a bad day.
I would be surprised if the Patriots and Bills met up in the playoffs. If the Patriots beat the Bills in the playoffs, that would shock me.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Josh Allen's playoff to lose. This is his shot. This is his chance to get to the Super Bowl. If he doesn't do it this year, I don't know if he's ever going to do it.
There's only one quarterback. I say there's probably only one quarterback left in the AFC playoff race that has beaten him multiple times, if I had to guess. You might have to fact check me on that.
Has Trevor Lawrence beaten him twice?
Yeah. Maybe even 3 times at this point.
Has he? That's not, again, better comparison. He's starting to get with a little bit better company here.
Trevor Lawrence is... Why would it not? In 2021, he beat Buffalo 9-6.
Oh, yeah. I remember that game.
In 2023, he beat Buffalo 25-20.
It's a 2-1.
And in 2024, he lost to Buffalo. Is this the one you didn't want me to talk about?
It was a bad season.
47-10.
It was a bad season.
But yeah, 2 wins. There you go, Jack. It's going to be an interesting playoffs.
I'm really excited to pick these brackets.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if, like, imagine the Bears are a 2 seed in the NFC right now. Again, after the Packers lose, the Bears kill the Browns. Myles Garrett's going to break a record. That's cool for the Browns.
I feel like the Bears are in such a similar position to the Patriots.
The Bears feel a lot more like that team that's definitely not going to do anything in the playoffs than the Patriots do. The Patriots, I have more faith in, a little bit more faith in.
I'm on the other side of the coin.
Really?
I got a little more faith in the Bears, given not to say, you know, we're literally just talking about how Travion Henderson is in the conversation for Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, but I trust that running game for the Bears, and I feel like that is going to be a difference maker in the playoffs.
I also trusted the Lions running game last year, and Ben Johnson completely avoided it, and they lost to the Commanders.
Maybe I'm falling victim again, but we'll see. He's calling the shots now. Not to say he wasn't last year, but let's see if they stick with the run game.
Caleb Williams has also been really good. Not better than Drake May, but he's been good. I'm a Bears hater, mainly because their fans suck, and I hate them all, except Brandon. Shout out Brandon. But yeah, I don't know. I can't trust the Bears.
Playoffs are going to be fun. Can't wait to pick these brackets.
See, they're most likely going to be fun. And another reason I hate the Bears is the Lions might miss the playoffs. They lost to the Rams. They pretty much need to win out, and I think they're in if they win out, if they win their last 3, mainly because that might kick out the Bears if they lose 1. But I'm going to be very upset if the Lions don't make the playoffs.
They're still a good team. They're still a really fun team, but they've seriously taken a step back, you know, whether it's players retiring or getting injured or be it what it might be, getting older. They just aren't as good as they were last year, and it's kind of sad, you know. Dan Campbell said it, I think 2 years ago. Dan Campbell said it after their loss. He was like, you know, you just don't know if you're ever going to be back in this position again. And, you know, fortunate for them, they were last year, but this year it's trending down.
Yeah,
that was after. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say the biggest thing was them losing both coordinators, and if you want to pick one, losing Ben Johnson. You know, don't want to throw all the shade at Dan Campbell, but like you guys say with Jalen Hurts, a guy who succeeds, you know, in his environment and who's around him. Brian's not ready to go there, but the proof is in the pudding, Brian. What's going on this year?
They're still good.
You're blinded by just having Jahmyr Gibbs on your fantasy team.
No, they're still a
they're
good
8-6. They were 15-1 last year.
Yeah, because they had 2 great coordinators. They just had an all-time great staff and a great team, and now they don't have as good of a staff.
All right, but don't you think the head coach can bridge the gap? You criticize Sirianni, no problem.
Yeah,
now Dan Campbell, it's a walk on eggshells. I know.
I don't like Nick Sirianni because I think he's a cornball, but he's undoubtedly a good head coach.
On 4th down on his own 5-yard line, so he's a great coach. I know. All good.
Dan Campbell's a lot easier to root for than Nick Sirianni is, from an outsider perspective.
I think both are fun to root for. I just think Sirianni needs to go Baldiani, and we're so back.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd much rather see like a Lions versus Seahawks or Lions versus 49ers than I would a Bears versus 49ers in the wild card round.
Why?
It'd be more fun.
Would it?
Bears Seahawks would be 9-6, and it would be a Cairo Santos 35.
It'd be a phenomenal football game.
Yeah, I don't think it would be 9-6.
I don't think so.
It might be 9-6, but it'd still be a phenomenal football game.
I don't think it's 9-6. Look, we got a heck of a game Thursday night, Rams Seahawks. So we
Which
can.
Is so dumb. Why is that Thursday?
That's electric for Thursday
it's a
night.
prime time game, Brian.
Yeah, it's fun to watch for like.
Do you not like Thursday night football?
Are you just pissed because you're gonna be working during it?
No, because like they're fighting for the 1 seed. They're fighting for the division, and you're gonna make them play on a short week.
Yes.
it's objectively Thursday is always objectively worse football. There's fun games sometimes, but like the players aren't as ready to go on a Thursday than they would be a Sunday or Monday night.
Okay, that is a fine and fair point. But when both teams have to do it, I mean, we're going to get what we're going to get. Thursday night football games have been high scoring this year, too.
I think McVay can get his team ready to go, and forget the Seahawks coach, but he's arguably my coach of the year right now.
McDonald.
I think you get him mentally ready to go. But
What's his name? Mike McDonald?
Mike McDonald, maybe. Coach of the year.
He's in the conversation. Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen, Vrabel.
Liam Cohen was coming.
Hey, there's a lot of first-year head coaches or new head coaches with their respective teams that are doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about it last night, and honestly, I wanted to know: are they called superlatives? I'm not even going to try that.
Superlatives.
Are maybe a little too early to start debates on that, but I was thinking last night about who would be the coach of the year, and the McDonald guy. If the Panthers were a little stronger, didn't drop 2 to the Saints, I'd have whatever his name is for the Panthers. I have him up there, but you just can't lose 2 to the hapless Saints. But if they win those games, I have him right up there, especially when everybody in the world had them like, hey, they're not going to win 3 games.
Could give it to Sean Payton.
For me, those veteran guys, Vrabel, Payton, whoever, are just like I can't get there for coach of the year. I can't. They're already veterans. They've been there, done that. They know how to do it. For me, it's got to be the guy who hasn't been there, done that, and then exceeds those expectations, goes above and beyond, and gets the win total. That's my coach of the year.
And I like that second half, but the first half with the Paytons and the Vrabels, I feel like they're in 2 totally separate conversations where Vrabel is, in his first year with the Patriots, which is a team that went, 3rd overall pick last year? Like they had like 3 wins last year, and then here he comes and turns them into a number 2 overall team in the conference. That's a big deal versus Sean Payton and the Broncos. They were a playoff team last year or fighting for a playoff bid.
I think they might have been the 7th seed.
Yeah, right. They were like a low wild
card
card team.
Yeah.
They weren't ready to beat the Chiefs for the division, but
No.
now they are, and they're definitely better, number 1 team in the AFC. So I can give them some props for that, but I don't know if that makes them a coach of the year.
No.
Yeah, the odds right now it's Vrabel, McDonald, and then Liam Cohen, then Ben Johnson.
Vrabel is number 1 though.
Yeah, he's the favorite. He's plus 150.
I think.
What's the odds on the Seahawks guy?
Plus 460.
If he wins on Thursday night, and Vrabel did.
If they win that division, they're going to be the 1 seed.
The Seahawks have had a tougher schedule.
Seahawks have had a tough schedule for sure.
They were also decent last year, though, right?
Were they? They blew it up last year.
They barely missed.
Really?
But they barely missed the playoffs, I thought.
But they had like Gino, like a totally different.
They did blow it up. DK left.
Yeah.
Like they did a lot of. I mean, they were not supposed to be.
They were 10-7.
Maybe they're supposed to be an average.
10-7 llast year.
Yeah, I remember them being like decent.
Yeah,
maybe they were
really
supposed
Gino
to
having a
be
good
average,
season,
but
10-7.
Nobody expected them to be, headed into week 15, week 16, wherever we're at, tied with the Rams. That division has 3 double-digit win teams.
Okay, yeah. So the Seahawks started 4-5 last year, and then they beat up on the Niners, who were all injured, the Cardinals, the Jets, and the Cardinals again to get them to 8-5, and they finished the year 10-7, missed the playoffs. So I guess they were more of a product of their bad schedule, kind of like the Patriots are this year.
Right. Which is, again, a knock for me. Not that I have a vote, but for the sake of conversation, a knock for me getting there with Vrabel to be coach of the year. But I do like your point, Jack, and like Vrabel hasn't been there before. I like the first the first year head coach or like within 2 to 3 year head coach, and you exceed those expectations. I like that kind of being that criteria area for coach of the year. What do you think, Brian? Where are you at on this?
If William Cohen goes 13 and maybe I think you got to give it to him.
Yeah,
Makes me happy.
It's still too early. That's why I said I don't know if we can necessarily. I know we gave out all our who we think will win each respective award for the NFL awards or NFL honors, whatever they call it, but little too early for coach of the year.
Yeah, we did an Instagram post last year before it, so we'll have to do the same this year. So keep an eye on that on our Instagram at Views from 400.
Yes, sir. All right, where are we at in this, Brian?
Yeah, our last couple games here, the Panthers. Oh, the Panthers. The Bucs lost on Thursday. They had a huge opportunity, and they blew it.
Yeah, hinted it. I mean, you can't lose 2 games to the Saints in the same year that they are not. I mean, not to say they're not trying to win because they just won, but I mean, they should be kind of focusing to regroup next year with draft capital, and this season's obviously nail in the coffin for them. So to go in a spot where the Bucs drop a game, you have a chance to beat the Saints, take command of the division. Go to a game where I know they play the Bucs this week, so you're not now. It's kind of like a winner gets the division. That game's pretty much for the NFC South. Whereas if you win against the Saints, you're not in a kind of winner take all situation, which now you've ultimately forced yourself to be in that on both sides. Who is that?
Someone banging pots and pans.
Someone's banging pots and pans.
Sorry, I didn't think you guys could hear that.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
Mid take.
I'm sorry I had to cut you off, man.
No, it was. I was about to say something. I just didn't want to be the one to do it.
Sorry, one sec.
It's like egregious.
I was like, dude, I'm like mid take, and it's like bang, bang, bang. Like, what the fuck is going on? I thought it's like I don't think it's Brian. He's in a separate room.
Yeah, it was so funny. I heard like a couple, and then it just kept going. I'm like, yeah, this can't. This has to stop.
And I was just going on
Panthers.
I was just going on about the Panthers. I don't really have much more to say other than they have been handed this dream of a season for what it's worth. I mean, nobody expected them to still be in it in mid-December, and that's exactly what they are with a winner-go-home game for the NFC South. Maybe not winner go home, but it certainly feels like that. The 2 teams with a chance to win this division in the Buccaneers and the Panthers. They were handed. The Falcons Kirk Cousins pulls off a win on Thursday night. You get handed a gift to go to New Orleans and play the Saints, who are out of it, and you can't execute. And you did it twice this year. In terms of, you dropped at home to the Saints and then dropped on the road. So as fun as the Panthers have been this year, it's just, they win those 2 games, man. They're what, 9-5? If they beat the Saints twice? I mean, it's insane.
Divisional games, man. Divisional games, they get you. The NFC South and the AFC North, I feel like those divisions – you could be 1-10, or I guess in the Saints case, 3-10, going into a game late in the season, week 15, and still go, play spoiler, pull the plug on one of your division rivals. I feel like it always happens in this division, AFC North, and that's what we got. The Saints are, like you said, a team that they're trying to win, but they're not working with much. And for them to be able to sweep the Panthers in a season where they're trying to make the playoffs, can't happen. It can't happen. It's just, can't lose to 10 lost teams, period. You can't lose to 10 lost teams.
Which is why I can't get there for Canales as coach of the year, even in a year where,
there's a lot of competition.
a lot of competition, and he was, could have been right there for the conversation. I mean, if he wins a couple easy games, record wise, I know division games are tough.
Yeah, the Panthers now have not won. Well, they still haven't won Panthers haven't won a game as a favorite since 2021.
Yeah, you look at their schedule, man. Knock off the Rams, knock off the Cowboys, which it doesn't say much at this point, but when they beat them, I guess it looked a little better. What were some of their other wins? I mean, shit, they got 7 of them.
I think they beat the Bills.
That sounds right.
I mean, they got 7 wins for crying out loud. And 2 losses are to the Panthers. Like, who the hell did they beat?
They beat the Falcons in overtime.
Right.
They beat the Packers. They lost to the Bills.
Yeah.
They beat the Jets on the road. I'm surprised they weren't favored in that. That must have been close.
Killed by the Patriots.
Beat the Dolphins. Beat the Falcons twice.
Nobody talks about it, but I mean, got kind of a blowout week 1, 26-10 to the Jags, then lose to the Cardinals, 27-22. I mean, dude, lost to the Cardinals, twice to the Saints,
twice to the Falcons.
No,
they beat the Falcons twice. Beat the Falcons twice.
But I mean, dude, even if you just beat the Saints twice and beat the Cardinals, you're a 10-win team right now.
Division's pretty much locked up.
Division's locked up. Those are winnable games.
Very winnable games.
Like, are you kidding me?
They're not quite ready, but I think they're building something that's sustainable, and they'll be in the conversation for a while.
Yeah, and Brian, did they successfully hit sleeper team?
Yeah, they're in it. I think we said week 16.
Yeah, what did we finalize our what qualifies as a sleeper? Since we got so close this year, usually the team's 3-12 by the time we get to here that we pick as a sleeper, and it's not even worth the conversation.
Yeah, we are week 16, and you're in it. They're in a. If they win, they control their own destiny.
They're in a, but if they lose, I don't know. It won't feel, whether you want to call it or not. I really would hate for them to kind of throw the seat. What, make playoffs or not? At minimum, just finish 9-8. The winning record would be nice.
There's a very real chance they could go 7-10.
Oh, no.
A team that could still go 7-10, the Baltimore Ravens. They're in it right now. They're still I believe they're a half game behind the Steelers. They're 7-7. Steelers are 7-6, playing tonight as we're recording this. They get the Patriots next week.
Watch out for those red hot Dolphins, though. Let's not count out Mike McDaniel calling for his head. And this guy's just on a warpath. He heard the haters. On a warpath.
The haters are
storming back. No Tyreek Hill. No Tyreek Hill. He said, that's fine. Give me Jalen Waddle and A-Chain.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. The Ravens-Bengals, the Ravens, they got to win this division. I know it hasn't looked right, but they kind of had this very similar season to the Eagles where it hasn't really looked right, but they're going to win the division, and they're going to be in the playoffs. I can't imagine a world where the Ravens don't win this division.
I mean, I definitely can. I don't know what you've seen Lamar Jackson and this Ravens team do over the past 4 or 5 weeks that tells you that they're a good team.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked so highly, and I guess for the most part, rightfully so, but we've talked so highly of this division, and, they are going to have a playoff team. The problem is whether it's Steelers or Ravens, neither are a threat to win. I think to even win a game in the playoffs.
I mean, team.
Yeah, I will say, given who their quarterbacks are, I won't count them out of a playoff game. I know Lamar hasn't had the postseason success, and honestly, Rodgers has had some postseason success, but only one Super Bowl to this point in his career is kind of surprising. So
he's got a lot of playoff chokes.
Yeah, a lot of playoff wins, but a lot of playoff chokes, and I wouldn't want to play either of these teams in the playoffs, just given who their quarterback is. At the same time, I'm not scared of either of these teams.
No. The winner of this division, when I said the Ravens are going to win it, I admittedly didn't look at the schedule. The winner of the AFC North is going 8-9. The Steelers finish with Dolphins tonight, then they go to Detroit. They're going to lose that game to the Lions. Then they have to go to Cleveland. They could lose that game in Cleveland. And then they finish with the Ravens. The Ravens play the Patriots, then they go to Green Bay. Yeah, no Micah Parsons, but they still have to go to Green Bay. And then the Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, the Packers are still a very good team without Micah Parsons. I know it's a big loss, but they're still, I think, very competitive squad.
Yeah, I don't know who has the tiebreaker, but there's definitely a world where they both enter that. The Ravens enter that game 8-8, and the Steelers enter 8. No, I can't do math. The Ravens enter a game behind, needing to win it to get in, and they end up winning it, but they're under 500. That would be the AFC North in a nutshell.
Yeah, a division we talk so highly of, and now they're just
They've all been
know if they're just
seasons.
Kind of just ass.
Yeah.
Well, the Browns are ass. The other three teams are
Bengals are pretty ass.
Bengals are hanging on by a thread.
Yeah,
Bengals are lucky they beat the Ravens on Thanksgiving because they've lost 5 of 6 against them now. We talk about.
Apparently, Joe Burrow doesn't like football anymore either.
Would you like football behind that offensive line and with that defense?
I think he's trying
to $300 million on my contract. Yeah.
He was trying. That's all theatrics. He's trying to get the front office rattled to get some offensive line help around them. He's just trying to panic the offensive line or the front office. That's all that is.
Yeah, those boys are not getting Christmas presents this year.
No.
Maybe some Skyline chili.
Yeah, on their own dime.
Take them all out and make them pay for their own $5 spaghetti and chili.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's the show, unless you guys had any other takeaways from Week 15.
No, I feel like we haven't. We've been
fantasy league.
Hit or miss on a couple shows. Jack doesn't want to talk about it because he wrote me off. But I got a trip to the semifinals there, Mr. Jack.
Matt, I didn't write you off.
It's all good.
I didn't write you off. I wrote myself in. Yes. And, normally when you lead a fantasy league in points, you make the playoffs. Maybe not the number 1 overall seed, but you make the playoffs. Usually when you lead a fantasy league by over 100 points to the second highest score, you're surely going to make the playoffs. But I couldn't.
You can't assume.
You know what they say about assuming?
What do they
Play
say?
some defense.
Makes an ass out of you and me, Mr. Jack.
Wow, Brian. I'm pretty sure my 5th grade teacher told me that.
It's bad news bears, you prick.
You trying to sound like a philosopher.
Either way, I was able to not only sneak in, but pick up a victory this week, which sets up an all-brother semifinal where I'll take on my little brother for a shot to go to the championship game of the Views from Section 400 Fantasy Football League.
We're going to need you, Matt.
Talk about a storyline, Brian.
That's a hell of a storyline, and he's been locked in all year. His team's pretty damn good.
Yep, definitely.
What about on the other side? Who do we got? Easy E and Shake and Bake.
Nick Stewart's there as the 1 seed, and
we got something to look forward to in the game tonight. If DK Metcalf can amass 7 points, Noah Tannen, a.k.a. Shake and Bake, will play Nick Stewart on the other side in the semis.
I'm sure he'd be
thrilled.
Who will that? These every Sunday, Monday.
Who will that force out? Who's in right now? if let's say DK gets under 7.
Easy E.
So a little bit of Monday Night Madness to wrap up the first round of the playoffs.
Jack, that's your fellow Jags fan, Easy.
I know.
Be a rough year for the Jags fans in the Views League.
It's bullshit.
I think there is snow in the forecast tonight in Pittsburgh, so maybe that'll help keep DK low.
Yeah, and I like the Dolphins' chances. I mean, they held a practice outdoors on Saturday night when the snow was, it was 20 degrees and the snow was heavily falling. They were out there, it looked like shoulder pads and now, that was it. No heavy sweatshirts and stuff. They were short sleeves and 20 degrees and all snow. So it's better than not having that practice. So I like their chances better than not, playing in the cold weather.
God, I can't believe you guys made me look at this freaking league again. I scored 2,000 points, man.
Yeah. Oh
That's
my
you, Jack.
gosh, dude, that had me I was like, what the hell is going on?
Did you actually think that was me?
No, I didn't know what it was. I thought I had like a pop-up on my screen.
I could tell Brian was pulling some crap right there. I just went along with a bit.
Well, it's good work by you two, acting and getting the sound effects going, because I had no idea what was going on. I know Brian has access to the soundboard and can pop things in when he sees fit. Which was right there, but
All right, let's go watch the Monday Night Football. We will see all of you on Thursday.
Go Dolphins are making the playoffs.
You are now in the mix with DJ Savage.
Are they already eliminated?
The listeners can't see you.
Dude.